Hello, welcome again to our lesson in English. It's all about comparison forms of modifiers. This is Teacher Helen, subject teacher for grades 4 and 5. Read the following sentences. Stella is simply adorable. Her sister seems to be more adorable, though. Her sister moves more elegantly. Stella walks briskly. Still, her sister walks better. The underlined words adorable, more elegantly, briskly, better are examples of comparison forms of modifiers. In making comparisons, modifiers can take different forms. We have 3 degrees of comparison of modifiers. First, we have the positive form. Second, we have comparative form. And the third one is superlative form. What is positive, comparative, and superlative forms? Positive form shows no comparison. The modifier is in the base form. Second, comparative form compares two. And the last, superlative form compares 3 or more. Generally, the way a modifier forms the comparative and superlative depends on the number of syllables the modifier has. Again, it depends on the number of syllables. Number 1. Most one-syllable modifiers form the comparative and superlative degrees by adding ER and EST on the last syllables. Again, by adding ER and AST. Example: fast, faster, fastest. That is an example of one-syllable modifier. Fast. Number 2. Some two-syllable modifiers form the comparative and superlative degrees with ER and EST. Again, some. Example: lonely. The word lonely has 2 syllables. Lonely. Lonelier, loneliest. Number 3. Other two-syllable modifiers form the comparative and superlative degrees by using more and most. Example: careful is equals to more careful and most careful. Second, careful is equals to carefulier to carefuliest. Which of the two is correct? Okay, we have the first one. The words more careful and most careful is correct. Fourth, we have modifiers that have 3 or more syllables form the comparative and superlative degrees with more and most. Example: tenderly is equals to more tenderly and most tenderly. We have another Tenderly is equals to tenderlier and tenderliest. Which of the two is correct? Okay, the first is correct. Tenderly is equals to more tenderly and most tenderly. Fifth, a few modifiers form the comparative and superlative degrees in other ways. These are the irregular modifiers. Examples: positive, comparative, and superlative. Let's start with the positive, then to comparative, and then to superlative. Okay, now we have the base form, bad. In comparative form, bad will become worse. And in the superlative form, it will become worst. Next, we have the base form, good. In comparative form, it will become better. And in superlative form, it will become best. And respectively, we have the base forms, well, many, much, and far. Let's start with well. Well will become better, best. Many, more, most. Much, more, most. And lastly, we have the base form far will become farther or farther. And in superlative form, we have farthest to farthest. I guess that's all for the comparison forms of modifiers. Again, we have 3 degrees of comparison of modifiers: positive, comparative, and superlative. And always remember that the way a modifier forms the comparative and superlative depends on the number of syllables. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening.